It's Madden NFL 24. And if it's in the game, it's in the game. It's the Miami Dolphins and the Minnesota Vikings. And it comes your way next.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Coming up, we've got what should prove to be a good one, as it'll be the Miami Dolphins taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, thrilled to be with you from the broadcast booth. And partner, before we get this thing started, what are you going to be watching?
Who gets off to a fast start? In horse racing terms, they talk about catching a flyer out of the gate. Who sets the pace and makes the other team chase?
Greg Joseph now ready to get this one started, and we are underway from Minneapolis. And taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. The Dolphins take the field with Tua Tagovailoa, their quarterback from Alabama, at the helm.
You want to talk about a driven player, partner. This guy is absolutely that person. He doesn't just have goals in this game. He wants to be remembered among the best to play the position, and he treats every game as an audition for that. It's a lofty goal to set for yourself, but we've seen his drive lead to some impressive games from him. Perhaps another one is in store today.
They'll run here with Raheem Mostert. And he'll be brought down here at the 28. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field, the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling and usually between run and pass. But in this case, with strictly the run game, you can be creative there as well. Run it inside, run it outside, keep the defense off balance.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
They'll put a check mark in the box where the defense coordinator was saying, how well can we stay with these receivers if we're in man coverage? Because he just did it on that one, forced the incompletion. That allowed him to get bolder with his pass rush, won't it?
Absolutely. Frees up your guys elsewhere. Tagovailoa going to try and throw on 3rd down. And he'll complete this one to Berrios. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down. They needed 3. He doubled that. He got 6. Well, they kept it simple there, CD, only needing the short gain to move the chain. So they didn't want to go with a deep throw. They just go with that safer, shorter throw and able to convert.
Nothing wrong with that at all, partner. Check the box, right? Make sure you pick up the first down. Offense is getting established. You're moving the ball. You're not turning it over. Check, check, check. They like what they're doing early in the game.
And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that's going to bring up 2nd down.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering. What a nice play he made there in the open field.
Throwing again on 2nd down, but this time it's incomplete.
In any event, it happened pretty quickly. I'm not sure he made the right decision on that one. I think if he had it to do over again, he would have found a different target downfield. But he made his decision, and that one's incomplete.
Throwing is Tagovailoa on 3rd down here. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Sacked by Andrew Van Ginkel.
Even keeping the back in for extra protection on 3rd down, they still couldn't prevent the sack. Now it's 4th and long thanks to a terrific individual effort on defense.
So on 4th down, here's Jake Bailey to punt for the Dolphins. Brandon Powell deep for Minnesota. And taken right on the 30. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. They're led out by the USC product in his 6th season now, Sam Darnold.
And the thing with Sam Darnold is we know the skill set is there. May not be the most mobile or strongest arm quarterback in the league, but usually plays with really good poise and at his best, like a point guard in basketball, able to move around and distribute the rock.
Good starting field position for the Vikings as they have it 1st and 10 at their 38. They'll fake the handoff. Now Darnold. Over the middle, and there's a diving catch. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
Certainly no settling into the drive there. They came right out on the first play and attacked the middle of the field for a big gainer and a 1st down.
Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
He lets one go deep for Addison. And this is caught. Touchdown. Jordan Addison, 42 yards. And the Vikings will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Joseph connects on the extra point. And that makes the score 7-0. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. This taken in at the goal line. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So Miami coming out for their 2nd drive. Over on the sideline hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out they had to punt it away. This time hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Tua. That one caught by Tyreek Hill. And out across midfield down to the 45. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. They fake the handoff. Now Tua. And he'll get this into the hands of Hill, complete. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. They go right back to him for 20 and a 1st.
I like that one, partner. They go back-to-back with excellent gains. And really, it shouldn't be a surprise who they were throwing the ball to. He's their best guy.
Yeah, we knew that they would get him involved early. They're doubling down on getting him involved early.
Don't be surprised if they'll come right back to him again. They haven't shown the propensity to be able to stop him.
And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards.
Would you say this offense is locked in right now?
They're having no trouble on this drive. What is it, 3 plays, 3 first downs?
Yeah, you talk about on the march. They keep this up, they'll get to that end zone real fast.
On first down, they go with Mostert again. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Now, that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've kind of hit the jackpot there.
And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. Only gets a yard, but it's enough to set him up 1st and goal. The first drive this unit had, they punted. This drive, much more polished, just looking crisper, aren't they, moving the ball?
Maybe the first drive was a little bit of a wake-up call. Probably a little bit angry that they had to punt the ball away the first time they had it. Got motivated, got to the sideline, said, okay.
And this is going to be intercepted. And the Vikings are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. CD, when he went to throw that, I'm not sure if he just didn't see where the defense was. Whatever the case, not the throw you're looking for on 1st and goal.
Not at all, because, look, let's face it, that goes to the goal line. If you throw an interception, it's going to hurt on any down. But really, the only down you can kind of live with is if you do it on 4th down. The first 3, if you don't have it wide open, just get rid of it. Make sure they can't get it and live to fight another down. 1st and goal, and you throw the pick, not good at all.
Jefferson going to go in motion right. And now a fake on the jet sweep and a give to Jones. And he works his way forward to pick up 4 yards there. 2nd down.
Nice chunky yards on 1st down. It really opens up your options for what you want to do on 2nd. You go right back to him and hope he explodes, or sucker the defense in before throwing over the top.
They'll come up 2nd and 6 now from the 24. Here's Darnold. And a quick throw there is incomplete.
Nowadays, quarterbacks don't mind throwing into coverage because of the confidence they have in their receivers to come down with the ball. But sometimes you have to be careful you don't get too confident and throw an interception.
So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. Now Darnold. Setting up the screen here, Aaron Jones. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the 1st down.
Well, it's almost as if they didn't leave the field after their first drive. They picked right up where they left off. Another good throw there. And this offense, humming here in the early going.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Darnold now to throw. Complete. Jefferson the target. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. 12 more yards there and another 1st down.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
To Jefferson on the slant. So the completion good for 6 yards, and that will bring up 2nd down.
Nothing fancy on 1st down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. Darnold's throw pulled in here by Powell. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. First time these two have hooked up this afternoon, and it's a 1st down. Darnold to throw again. Going underneath, he's got Hawkinson. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Another good completion on the drive as the Vikings have a first down.
Well, as a coach, you absolutely love seeing your offense find their rhythm early, and that's exactly what we've seen so far. They had a touchdown on their opening drive, and now they connect here for another nice gain for a first down. This offense is moving the ball well, exactly as he drew it up in practice.
Meanwhile, Darnold's and the throw here caught by Addison. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. Well, they had a gain of 10 last time, now a gain of 20 here.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a first and goal.
Darnold from the gun. And oh, it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Ramsey. And the Dolphins are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20.
Definitely not the ideal time to see that mistake, partner, because this is still a one-possession game, and that's at least a field goal that just vanished with that turnover. Now, pressure's on defensively to prevent that pick from turning into points for the other side.
The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. A big mistake last time they were on the field, tossing that interception inside the red zone and really taking away what had been a pretty successful drive up to that point.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any question about it. As they head out on the field for this drive, that whole offensive unit is just thinking redemption. You know, they moved it really well, didn't pay it off. This time, they want to make sure that ball ends up in the end zone, and they're the ones possessing it.
On the ground, it's Mostert to start the drive. And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. It's Dolphins football here as we begin the second quarter. Here's a 2nd and 5 now from the 25. As they've got it as we resume action. Second down, here's Mostert again. And he'll have a Dolphins first down as he gets this up past the 30.
But, partner, if the defense isn't going to adjust and they keep giving them those 5, 6, 7-yard runs over and over, they're likely to run it the whole way to the end zone. They'll be more than happy to take the yardage available and save some of their other plays in the playbook for another time.
On 1st and 10, it's Mostert. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Tua's throw is taken in by Waddle. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Waddle's first catch, good for a first down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
Up the middle they go with Mostert. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And no more. Tackled by Jonathan Grenard. The defensive line made pretty easy work of the offensive line that time.
And people get tired of the cliche that the battle is won in the trenches. But it's a cliche because it's true. And how about the battle right there? One on the edge, and the ball carrier did not benefit.
Now a throw here to his running back. And he is down at the 48. A pickup of 4 that started at one 48-yard line and ended at the other.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
He's got his running back out of the backfield. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
Back to the running game with Mostert. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Shaquille Griffin in on the stop defensively.
That was a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
Calling a gain of 4 there, so it sets up a big play here. 3rd and a yard.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The offense on 3rd down, they've been okay. 2 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. They'll try and run here with Mostert. He is going nowhere as he is enveloped behind the line. Now a stoppage here as it looks like we've got a Dolphins shaken up on the play. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. So 4th down, Tua departs, and on is Jason Sanders and the Dolphin field goal unit. It'll be a 47-yard attempt from the left hash. Sanders' kick is good, and they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense, the firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
After the field goal, here comes Sanders to kick it away. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. In a close game like this, Charles, those interceptions like they had on the last drive could be costly, but here they've got another opportunity to seize control of this game.
And they'd better take advantage of it, because otherwise, if they end up losing by 1 score, they'll relive this over and over and over until they have another opportunity to wipe it away.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. That is caught by Josh Oliver, the former San Jose State Spartan. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it's 2nd down.
Such a tough position to defend near the line, even when you add a second defender, but the big man shrugged off the extra body and made the play call a success.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Out of the shotgun, it's Jones. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. 10 yards, and it's good for a Viking first down.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
After the run by Jones, here's 1st and 10. Faking the give, Darnold. Short throw caught by the tight end, Oliver.
Nice rhythm throw there on 1st down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. Ball placed at the 45 for 2nd and 5. Now a handoff. Running left is Jones. And some solid footwork there as he'll take this down to about the 38. 17 yards, first down, Vikings.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 38. And they'll keep on the ground with Jones. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. And now they'll stop play here, at least momentarily. A member of the Vikings in some discomfort after that last play. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. Now a first down carry by Jones. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. Kendall Fuller, boy, no problems for him on that play defensively. Really nice tackle for loss.
When coaches stress their defense being physical, they don't just mean the big guys. How about the guys on the outside, the cornerbacks? It's not just their job to patrol the airspace. They can get involved in the run game as well.
On second down, it's Jones. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line. After getting stuffed on first down, not much better there. 2-yard gain.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on 3rd. Now here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete.
That's some good closing speed there defensively, because that looked open for a minute. But that's great work with the ball in the air. Never gave up, converged on his man, and broke the play up.
Here's Greg Joseph now to try the field goal. This a 43-yard attempt. The kick by Joseph is good, and they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So a nice kick there as they add 3 to the lead.
And from what I've seen so far, Brandon, I think they've been the better of the two teams here in the first half. So even though you want the touchdown, I think that's a nice job there to put 3 points on the board.
Joseph now to kick this one away. Braxton Berrios now from his end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
On first down, Tagovailoa. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Buried by multiple defenders on the drive's first play. Well, remember, he had the interception earlier. Now he adds the sack. He's really making his presence felt out there.
Oh, he is putting together a heck of a game. In fact, he's going to bump these plays to his highlight reel. Okay, so when he wants to show it off later on, look what I did out there, guys. And this offense, they've got to start paying him a little special attention. He's like a good basketball player, putting stats in every column.
Well, Charles, sometimes we talk about the lengths officials sometimes go to protect star quarterbacks, but that was tough to argue against.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's going to say, hey, we're going to administer the penalty the same way for all quarterbacks. But when it's a star back there, even more so are they going to be diligent about throwing the flag.
Our score 10-3 with 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 2. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Throwing now is Tagovailoa. Over the middle, he gets it to Berrios. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. A Miami first down on the 14-yard pickup.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? Able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
Setting to throw on first down is Tua. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. 2nd and 10. Tua sets up to pass it. They set up the screen. Achane has it. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
And that doesn't have to gain big yardage to be an impactful play, because if you can get those pass rushers second-guessing themselves that they might get hit with a screen, maybe you can wind up slowing them down just a step. And if you do that, that's a win for that play.
Tagovailoa going to try and throw on 3rd down. Throw caught by Achane. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down. They needed 3. He doubled that. He got 6.
And this pass rush has really been bringing the heat and has already gotten home a few times here in the first half. So how about the play call there? Sometimes if you can't protect, you've got to fool them. Screen passes like that can take a little steam out of what's been a relentless rush so far.
Now a play fake. Here's Tagovailoa. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front.
Nice progress down the field was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
Here's 2nd and 10. Tua setting up shop to throw again. Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. And the Vikings are going to take over at their own 28-yard line. Well, he had to fit that into a pretty tight window over the middle. And, Charles, I think they were in zone defensively, weren't they?
They certainly were. Nice read on your part. And sometimes the quarterback isn't fooled between zone and man. Sometimes just fooled by the type of zone that he sees. Because oftentimes, those linebackers will vacate and run downfield with receivers. In this case, he played a pure zone and was in the wrong spot for the QB.
After the interception, here's Darnold. And that'll be incomplete.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. Now a 2nd and 10. Here's Darnold. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
They have to like what they've done defensively here at the outset of this drive. They forced a couple of incomplete passes, bring up a 3rd and 10. Don't be surprised to bring a little pressure on this snap.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Up the middle, Jones. And this play going to be stopped in its tracks at the 32, and obviously well short of the first down. So on 4th down, on is the punter Ryan Wright. Braxton Berrios deep for Miami. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it'll be Dolphin football. The Dolphins taking over now late in this first half. With this slim deficit closing in on the end of the first half, we'll see if they can move this at least into field goal range and try to get 3 out of this drive. "35 seconds, all that remains in the first half as they come up on first down. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. That's complete to Mostert out of the backfield. The Dolphins going to take their 2nd timeout as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half. 2nd and 11. Tua going to throw. It's Hill, complete. Now the Dolphins will use the last of their timeouts. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Tua now on 1st down. And going deep for Hill. And he's got it inside the 10. Touchdown, Dolphins. Tyreek Hill as the first half is winding down. And the Dolphins have a chance to tie the game here in the final seconds of the half.
After nearly 30 minutes of football, that touchdown puts us in a position where if they make the extra point, we're right back to even before we start the second half.
Jason Sanders now for the extra point. And he'll put it through, and that evens us up at 10 apiece. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it ends with a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Now 2nd and 5. Now it's Darnold. The left side completion to Jones. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. To throw is Darnold. And the Dolphins rush gets home. Down he goes. So thanks to the late touchdown, it's a time ball game here heading to break. As we'll send you down to Orlando and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Back to you guys in a bit. But first, we welcome everyone to our EA Sports Halftime Report. We thought this one would be a close battle coming in, and we have not been disappointed. They're all even to this point. This has the feeling of a game that could go right down to the wire. One mistake or one big play could turn out to be the difference.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. And ready to get the party started for the second half. It was an even first half, all tied on the scoreboard. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Now the Vikings offense set to go to work to begin this third quarter. It's a tie football game here. What do you think, Charles, the message was at halftime?
Well, I think that they probably just looked at things and said, we're fortunate that this is a tie game. No need to panic. No need to change a whole lot. We didn't play anything close to our best in the first half, so we don't have to go out and win one for the Gipper. Let's just go out and play our best football and win one for us.
On first down, it's Darnold. Can't get away, and he's taken down. They couldn't contain Deshaun Hand that time as he gets home for the sack.
I wonder if they're wandering back to the huddle thinking to themselves, can we just hit rewind and go back a play? Definitely not the down they wanted to begin this drive by giving up a sack. But for the defense, that's exactly how they drew it up.
Now then, after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. Back to throw, Darnold. Bradley Chubb in there to drop him, and sacks on 1st and 2nd downs. Now leads to a 3rd and long.
Now that's the way to start the second half. Back-to-back sacks. Whatever the halftime speech was, I hope they recorded it.
They'd like to avoid punting from their own end zone so they could use something here on 3rd down. An inside give to Jones. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down. That defense just did not budge, and now your punter. Well, this is why you pay him.
It is. It's exactly why you pay him. But what he's got to be thinking about are a couple of things. Number one, don't step back. Could be a safety. Number two, cut down your time on your mechanics. If you're a two-step punter, it needs to be one step and get rid of the football.
Here's Berrios. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Dolphins will begin this drive in great field position, 1st and 10. Now we get Tyreek Hill and the rest of the Miami offense back out there. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this? But it's usually not by himself, is it?
Right.
Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Meanwhile, Tua's throw caught by his receiver, Hill. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Tua now on 1st down. That's swung out to Mostert. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll make it 2nd down.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. And despite the fancy footwork we saw, they'll get to him just inside the 15. Call it a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be 3rd and about a foot or 2.
That play reminded me a lot of a former teammate of mine. We used to call him the trash man. His ability to sift through traffic and make plays was uncanny.
And that's exactly what you want from your Mike linebacker. On 3rd down, here comes Mostert. And he will have the 1st down before he's tackled at the 12.
I don't know about you, but that almost felt like old-time football there. 3rd and 2 is not necessarily just a running down anymore. A lot of times they want to throw the ball. They went back to the roots and powered forward and got the 1st down.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Again, they'll run it with Mostert. He'll get this down inside the 10 for a pickup of about 3.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
It's 2nd and 7 from the 9. Looking to pass. Tua. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Tyreek Hill on the touchdown pass from Tua. And the Dolphins have taken the lead. So this game tied at the half, but we are tied no more. A touchdown there on the opening sequence of this third quarter.
And what a great drive put together by their offensive coordinator. He had a plan, and they executed it almost to perfection.
And now before we get to the extra point, remember all touchdowns do have to be confirmed by the replay official. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How's the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Sanders now to add the extra point. He's got it as they go up by a total of 17-10. That time a 6-play drive. And it ends with a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. They find themselves down 17-10 as they come up on a 1st and 10. Here's Darnold. Right side, it's the tight end, Hockenson. He's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
And Jefferson's going to have the Vikings first down as the tackle going to be made up at the 37.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. A play fake, and it's Darnold. And he couldn't get that one to his man. Short of him, it's low and incomplete.
Well, that's a defensive coordinator's got to be happy with that result. They took away all options downfield and forced the incompletion.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Now Darnold. Open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hockenson. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the 1st. They'll try and run for it with Jones. Oh, good move. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive, they went 3 and out.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 46. Again, it's Jones. And he picks up about 6 as he gets this down to the 41.
Consecutive positive runs for him on the last 2 snaps. He certainly appears to be trying to put the offense on his back and just move them down the field when his number is called. The way he's running it, I'd keep going back to him.
From the 41, here's a 2nd and 4. On the counter, here's Jones. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. 74 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Yeah, once more, strong running, excellent blocking at the point of attack. They've got a nice little drive brewing right here.
Faking the give, Darnold. Now that's to the left sideline and incomplete.
They had their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
Third quarter of a tight football game as we come up on a 2nd and 10. Darnold. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
That play call wasn't there for them against that coverage. So they're going to spin the dial now in their playbook and come up with one more shot at the marker to try and keep this series going.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Darnold now to throw. And that will be incomplete as well. The Dolphins do the job defensively there, and now it brings up 4th.
Well, how about the coverage we just saw him break out on 3rd down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
Joseph's got it, and that will cut this lead back down to 4 now. It's 17-13. So the response to that touchdown on the other side to begin the 3rd quarter. Look, just 3 points, but still a response nonetheless.
You're exactly right about that, because I think you needed to answer back with something, even though it's not 6. Just enough to send the message that says, hey, we're not going away.
Joseph now to kick this one away. This fielded right at the goal line. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34. Tyreek Hill making his way back out towards the huddle. Seems like the measuring stick for a receiver for a great game is 100 yards. Well, he's well past that now.
And as we analyze how he's getting them, that's where it really becomes fun, because let's face it, they keep sending coverage at him, keep trying to put the pressure on, yet he finds ways downfield and finds openings. That's a really crafty receiver.
They try and run on 1st down, but to no avail. Tackled for a 2-yard loss in the backfield.
Brandon, you're a big lover of music. How about what you just saw there? This is what I call playing the piano for a defensive lineman, the ability to move laterally up and down the line of scrimmage. How about the way he just flowed and got to the outside part of the field and made that play?
Throwing now is Tagovailoa. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by Harrison Smith. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line.
You've got to know as a quarterback that's going to be tough to outthink this guy in the defensive backfield. He's been at it 11 years now, so he knows all the ins and outs of the position, and he's in the right spot there to come up with the interception.
And now out comes Minnesota. And they'll take over here following the interception with good field position and a chance to take the lead with a touchdown. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll try and get the running game going with Jones. And he'll have a gain of 3 to the 33.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out. And they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
From the 33, here's a 2nd and 7. They'll fake the handoff. Now Darnold under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Jalen Phillips coming in for that outside linebacker spot, and he buries him for a loss of 7.
And this dominant defensive performance continued on that play. This poor quarterback, he's not received the protection he needs and has had to pick himself up off the turf far too often.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That is caught. Down inside the 10. Touchdown, Vikings. Brandon Powell, 40 yards. And the Vikings have retaken a 3rd quarter lead.
All the receivers in the league are plenty good enough, otherwise they wouldn't make it in the NFL. But the ones that go to the Pro Bowl, they have refined route running ability.
Joseph now to have the PAT. And that one gives them a 3-point lead. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it's polished off by a Viking score. Now Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. Taken at the goal line. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. The Dolphins offense now working their way back onto the field. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
A good action to this point in the 3rd quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. A run with Mostert up the middle. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time, so make sure you get in shape.
So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we've played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. Throwing is Tagovailoa on 3rd down here. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the 4th quarter. Good work on the scamper by Tagovailoa. It's a 1st down. Well, there you go. Save your best scramble of the day for a big-time situation in the 4th quarter, picking up the 1st.
You don't want to use it up early, right? You want to make sure you save it for that exact moment, that key time, and that's what he did, although you and I both know it wasn't planned that way. But what a nice job using his eyes, scanning the field, and real.
Now the pressure gets there, and Tua is going to be taken down. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up 2nd down. And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance.
He's got a man complete. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. That one covers 29 yards, first down.
And here we are in the fourth quarter part.
Here's Tua. Flushed out right. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
I do think it's fair to say that they were caught off guard a little bit when he decided not to throw it on first down. But give them credit, they recovered in time to deny him the first down yardage. But it's only 2nd and short, so that run is still likely to lead to a new set of downs.
They fake the handoff, now Tua. And he'll get this into the hands of Hill, complete. He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy of the 20. Tua to Tyreek for the Miami first. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Now left side on the swing pass. And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. So it goes as a completed pass, but they lose a full 5 yards. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on first down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're either throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it off, or you throw it away, throw it over the sideline. Don't try and freelance and try and make a bigger play. There's really no one else running a pattern that should be open. The coverage keyed in on him since that last completion his way. He earned a little more attention on that route, and that made it a lot tougher to get a clean throw his way.
On third down, Achane. And he's going to be taken down short of the first, right around the 15-yard line. They do get 12, but they'll be marked short. And that leads to a fourth down.
That was a good, strong run there. And while it won't pick up a first down, it was definitely something needed by that offense. A positive run. They got a good push by their guys up front. Maybe something they can build on as this game continues.
So a big one coming now for Jason Sanders. From the left hash, just a 32-yard attempt. Sanders' kick is good. And the Dolphins have tied things up here in the fourth. Well, you talk about clutch. That one was right down Broadway, and this game's all even here in the fourth.
Yeah, he didn't leave any doubt, did he? Good snap, good hold, dead center. Almost like a big-time golfer in a major, firing at a pin from the fairway, trying to win the tournament going down the stretch.
Now this one setting up for a great finish. All tied in the fourth as the kick's away. Taking it about the 1. And he won't quite make it to the 25. And out now come the Vikings. And we essentially have a brand new ball game. After that last field goal has tied us all up, we brace for what should be an exciting rest of this fourth quarter. A first down throw, Darnold. Going underneath, he's got Hockenson. And a nice job to break free of one tackle, but it slowed his momentum somewhat, and he's taken down right after.
Yeah, that one was covered pretty well because they were trying to leak the tight end out into the flat. I think they were hoping he could catch it and turn upfield and pick up the first down.
Second down and 8. Here's Darnold. Drops it to Jones in the flat. 2 yards on the pickup there. And now third down and 6 to go. They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. Play action. It's Darnold. And that is incomplete.
Nice call by the defense there on third down. Just flood the field with extra defensive backs in their dime package. Nowhere to go with the football. Forces the incompletion.
And here's Ryan Wright now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. And here comes Berrios. A 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Miami set to take over. Excellent job by their defense to force the punt and provide them with this opportunity, all tied in the fourth quarter. Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10, right at the 30. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Got a man. It's Berrios complete. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40.
Unbelievable.
And that one on the rookie, Charles. Maybe a little too overeager.
You know how many times we talk about the quarterback having to have a clock in his head and make sure the ball gets away before the rush gets there? When you're a pass rusher, you have to know when the ball is gone and make sure you don't hit the quarterback afterwards. I know he was trying to make a play, but that time he ends up drawing the flag.
Here's Mostert, toss left side. And a hard-working run here as he's got it inside the 20, down to the 17. 65 yards rushing for him now as he's carried it 16 times. A nice toss play there to the left. More than enough room to move the chains.
And you know what I love about that play as a broadcaster? Seeing the big guys move, seeing them get upfield and take out defenders. You know what I hated as a defensive back?
What?
That exact same thing. Seeing those linemen coming downfield, getting ready to blot out the sun.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Miami. Tyreek Hill on the touchdown pass from Tua. And the Dolphins have broken this deadlock and have taken the lead here in the fourth.
And that third counter there gives them the lead, and it's obvious they've needed everything that he's given them today. The 3 touchdowns, that's impressive, but without them, they're not winning this game.
Sanders on for the extra point. And they will take a 7-point lead now. Pretty clean and simple there. Just 2 plays. The long pass resulting in the touchdown on play number 2. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. And now after the touchdown a moment ago, they work from behind in a 7-point game in this fourth quarter. Plenty of time on the clock. On 1st and 10, Darnold. Over the middle, complete. That's Powell. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first.
I like the design that we're seeing right there. This is what they need. Down by a touchdown here in the fourth. They just need to keep working their way downfield. And when they see openings, take their shots.
Off of play action, Darnold. Catch is made by Hockenson, the tight end. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Now a 2nd and 2. A give to Jones. Pushing through the contact. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 7 yards there and a first down.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. Darnold from the gun. Over the middle and complete to Addison. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. They come up now on 2nd and 2. Now they'll try and set up the quarterback draw here. And they went the wrong way there, losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They face a critical 3rd down now, needing a score here in the late going. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Partner, they've got one chance left to keep this one going, and I think for you and me, let's think along with their offensive coordinator now. Has to think back, cycle through every play of this contest, and remember what's worked and what hasn't. Because right here, he needs the best play of the game in order to keep this one alive.
4th down, and for Darnold, it's desperation time. Pass taken in by his big tight end, and he is going to get out of bounds with the first down, so that's going to double their pleasure for sure. They get the first and save a timeout. Here's Darnold. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Whew, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle, so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
They'll try again here. 2nd and 10. Darnold. This one brought in by Jefferson. An incompletion, now a short pickup. That's not going to do it.
Yeah, you've got to get to the line of scrimmage quickly, get set up, and aim downfield.
Boy, here's a big one. You can just feel it. This is 3rd down now. Darnold to throw. He's got his target. That's complete. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 23. He has been terrific today, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely running flawless 2-minute drill right here. This has been quarterbacking 101 with a flourish.
Plenty of time. All 3 timeouts still remain. Here's 1st and 10 now. Now Darnold. Complete. Jefferson the target. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line.
That's a nice job right there, partner, because they were able to work down the middle of the field, working in the seams, because I think defensively they were guarding the sidelines, trying to keep them from getting out of bounds. They took what they gave them, and it was successful.
Darnold now to throw. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
Limited time left on the clock after that incompletion, so I think both sides are going to savor every second to prepare before the next snap. Because once the ball's in motion, it may be a nonstop push to finish this drive off. Everyone better be on the same page right now, because I think they're going to try and get several plays off in quick succession if they can.
And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. So that run play nullified by the holding call on the tight end.
Yeah, I just think he needs to get off the ball a lot quicker and get into the block a little bit more effectively. Then he doesn't have to reach and grab and try and hold on.
Darnold. And yes, Yes, he's into the end zone. So they get the late score they needed. And now the extra point can tie this thing up in the final minute.
And while it appears the heavy lifting was accomplished by scoring the touchdown, they're still down 1. That extra point is not a gimme.
Joseph on for the extra point. And no sweat. He puts it through, and we are tied here in the 4th. So that drive spans 13 plays. And the touchdown and PAT mean we are tied here in the final minute of play. This one, all we could have asked for. All tied, final minute as the kick's away here. Berrios going to bring this out of the end zone. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. Now we get Tyreek Hill and the rest of the Miami offense back out there. This defense, they wouldn't mind not seeing him again for a while. 3 trips to the end zone. How about that?
I think right now they would happily go to their general manager and say, is there any way you could get a trade for him? Bring him over to our team so we don't have to cover him anymore? Because he is really having a heck of a ball game, isn't he?
Boy, he is. I don't know that mid-game trade's going to happen, but good thought. Throwing Tua on the ground. It's Mostert to start the drive. Oh, and the tackle comes quickly. That's only going to get him a couple. And we've got free football. 4 quarters done, and we're dead even. We'll have overtime after this timeout. So the Vikings going to get the first chance to possess the football as we are back underway here in overtime. Nwangu now from his end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due, because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
And because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football. A nice stick and stop for a loss there from Jalen Phillips. That's the danger, Charles, of running plays like this for your wide receiver. They can hit big or they can be duds.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, because if they're forced to try and go around defenders behind the line of scrimmage, sometimes you can give yardage in order to gain it. But in this case, they gave yardage and didn't get it back.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. That pass just a little bit off. It looked like maybe he tried to force it in there.
Game speed, always different, no matter what you do in practice. You can't simulate it, right? So your decision making, everything has to be a little bit quicker. Sometimes it can throw you off until you adjust.
Throwing here on third down, Darnold. Pass to the sideline and pulled in. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 25 yards that time. That last pass puts him over 300 yards now in the game. More importantly, though, big first down here in OT.
And the team around him has a lot of confidence now after picking up that first down. Everyone seems a little more energized. But did I hear you before the game call in and say, this is my quarterback for your fantasy league? Because he just gave you a good stat, didn't he?
He did, and I appreciate it. Darnold on first down. And his throw here's incomplete.
I have a few questions about that throw because to me there just wasn't a lot there. I thought he tried to do a little bit too much, almost tried to will a receiver open when there was no chance he was going to be. Nice job by the linebacker being all over that one and knocking it away.
Again, Darnold. Open man, he's got him, the tight end Hockenson. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
They really love to get him into one-on-one opportunities, and this is one way. Work him out of the slot and create a mismatch. Who's going to cover him? Corner, safety, linebacker? He's got a way to beat all of those positions.
And they need 5 yards on 3rd down here to keep this opening drive of OT alive. Back to throw, Darnold. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Well, I know you're toward the middle of the field here, but still, 4th down this distance, you got to punt it right.
That's definitely the first instinct because you say, okay, let's just play some field position, make sure we don't lose the game here, turn it over in a key spot. But if you feel really good about your trigger guy, if you feel great about him, you might want to leave the ball in his hands and let him work his magic.
And this will pin him back deep. That's going to kick out of bounds right at about the 7-yard line. So now here come the Dolphins. Well, their defense, they did the important thing. They got the stop. They didn't allow a point, but now they're backed up here pretty far, Charles. Going to need a significant drive to try to get into position for the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, partner, don't you think that defense is on the sidelines right now saying, don't come to us with your problems about where you're starting. We did the important part. We kept them off the board, kept us in the ball game. Find a way to maneuver it downfield, at least get into field goal range, and get us a win.
It'll go down as a gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
2nd down and 4. Going to the air, Tagovailoa. That's Waddle. He's got the catch on the out route. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. Good yardage after the catch. Is that play good for 30 and a first?
Just straight money right there. The biggest drive of the game, a chance to win it in overtime. If they've been saving that play, they sure pulled it out at the right time. A huge turn of events there.
Just like that, out of danger and up past the 40 now for 1st and 10. Running the counter with Mostert. Fighting through. And a lane slow and materializing there as he'll get maybe a yard up to the 45.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
They work now on 2nd and 9. From the gun, it's Tua. They'll get this to his tight end. It's Jonnu Smith. And this is going to turn into another 1st down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 40. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains. And you definitely could make the case we might not even be in overtime had he not thrown 3 interceptions in regulation. But looking better here so far in OT.
Yeah, and when you think about what a coach is thinking at that point, because normally you've thrown 3 picks during the game, you might craft your play calling to be a little more careful. Not in this case. The green light still on for him.
Good work after the catch. Gets him 15 and a 1st down. He's padding his already great numbers here in overtime. More importantly, though, moving his guys downfield.
And I think that's exactly what's going through his head right now. Moving them downfield, putting them in a position to win the game. The stats, that's for the fantasy guys. I know they're enjoying that show.
And he is in for the score. And it is absolute stunned silence here as they win it on the road in overtime. As the fans exit back out through the turnstiles, not happy looks on their faces. Feel like they probably let this one slip away at home in overtime.
I would agree with that, and their unhappiness hurts the guys at the concession stands on the way out, right? Not stopping to buy something for the kids. They just want to get home. But what a dramatic way to finish this bad boy off. I mean, this game was dramatic all the way through. That's why we got to overtime. And then to go ahead and finish it this way, the fans streaming out unhappy, but the team that came in here and won this one on the road, they sprinted to their locker room.
And speaking of buying things, dinner on you tonight, Davis.
I kind of figured that was coming.
So it's a win for the Dolphins here, and it was a strong performance by Tua that helped lead the way.
Yeah, he really carved this defense up, didn't he? Threw for almost 400 yards, had 4 touchdown passes, and when he gets back to the locker room, there's a game ball definitely in his future. I can guarantee you that.
So